Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. We are learning tonight more about the man behind the wheel of a deadly crash that happened at the State Line Speedway. According to the Raceway's Facebook page, Scott Eldridge died Sunday after a crash that happened on Saturday. KREM 2's Janelle Finch has more about Scott and the impact he had on those around him.
Scott Eldridge's friends tell me race car driving was just one of his many joys, and his love for race cars is what kept him behind the wheel up until his final days. Tonight, I spoke with one of his friends who says race cars are what brought them together, but Scott's positive outlook on life is what kept them friends for over a decade. Keith Van Dyne says no one will be able to fill the shoes of his friend Scott Eldridge.
He turned out to be one of my, or if not my best friend.
Van Dyne says his memories of Eldridge include motorcycle road trips down the Oregon coast and driving to watch drag racing in Bakersfield.
I always needed somebody to come along to talk so that I wouldn't fall asleep, and Scott fit that bill very well.
Van Dyne says Eldridge was known by his friends and family for his positive energy, but his love for racing is what people could see.
His company name that he had was Got to Go Racing, and that was his whole, I got to go racing. I got to go. And so he had this little, his hats were GTGR with his car number on him. And he never went anywhere without it.
Van Dyne says Eldridge was always there for him because for Eldridge, he would think of others before himself.
Scott was everywhere in the respects that if he was in Spokane and you needed something here, and I'm in Vancouver, Washington, so it wasn't very long before Scott was here. He had his own agenda, that things that he needed to get done, but people were more important to him.
Van Dyne says he knows in his friend's death, people will remember Eldridge for his good heart and selfless character.
You don't need a lifetime to, he was genuine, right? There wasn't it wasn't a big cover up. That's who he was.
Van Dyne says Eldridge's family is flying in from across the country and world to begin the next steps in honoring his life. He was a son, brother, and father of two. In the studio, Janelle Finch, KREM 2 News.
New tonight, City Council has passed a new ordinance providing wraparound services for residents at the Trent Homeless Shelter. The goal of the ordinance is to provide services like mental health, drug and alcohol treatment, along with housing services, with the hopes of tackling Spokane's growing homeless crisis. Also new tonight, the Washington State Patrol has canceled an endangered missing person alert for a Lacey woman. Lacey police say the woman was taken from her home by her estranged husband, but was found yesterday. She told police he drove her to the woods, but she was able to escape and found some help. That suspect is now in custody. The Nokia Creek wildfire in southwest Washington blew up over the weekend, jumping containment lines and forcing mandatory evacuations for thousands of homeowners. The fire is burning near Vancouver, Washington. It grew from about 156 acres to about 1,600 acres, spurred by the weekend heat and the wind. The wind so strong, in fact, air crews were grounded at times. So far, no structures have burned, but nearly 3,000 homes are under level 3 go now evacuation orders. That fire is just 5% contained tonight. Let's talk weather here locally. Another beautiful day here in the inland northwest today. Sunshine and temperatures again in the mid-70s. Let's get straight to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. And Jeremy, you're saying enjoy these next few days because things are going to change.
Yeah, and they're going to change in a very big way. We can already see the end of this very lovely weather. I would call it mid-September-like weather because that's kind of what temperatures are looking like. And it's all thanks to a ridge of high pressure overhead. Right now you're looking at this going, what is he talking about? Hear me out. There's that ridge. Couple of things of note here. One, notice the clockwise flow around our high pressure center. That's what kicked up some of those winds that Mark was just talking about. Second thing of note, low down to the south. That doesn't really play a role in what we've got going on. This one here out to the west does, starts eating away at our ridge of high pressure. Next couple of days, going to just bump temperatures down slightly. What that does is it opens up a door for a much bigger change. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, highs in the 70s each day, lows in the low 40s. As we get toward the weekend, we'll see that chance of rain ramp up as an incoming storm brings a lot of moisture and a 20 to 30 degree drop in temperatures.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. I'll check back in with you later in the broadcast. Meantime, in international news tonight, new images are being released from an Iranian prison fire that broke out over the weekend. The smoke billowed over Iran's infamous Evin prison from a massive fire that ripped through the facility, holding political prisoners and dual nationals, including Americans. State-run media claims that 8 prisoners died in the fire that broke out in a sewing shop, but activists fear that real death toll is much higher. This all stems from the death of a 22-year-old who died while in custody of Iran's morality police, allegedly for wearing an improper head covering. Russia launched a new round of attacks on civilian targets in several major Ukrainian cities, including the capital of Kyiv. At least 8 deaths were reported as the Kremlin steps up its attacks following the bombing of a bridge connecting Russia to Crimea. Russia is now turning to so-called suicide drones as a weapon of choice with devastating effects. Despite Russia's repeated claims that it does not target civilians, waves of drones loaded with explosives pounded parts of central Kyiv. In other developing news tonight, a shootout between Spokane police and a man in downtown Spokane over the weekend. Police say that a man they were trying to make contact with on South Cedar and West First Avenue began shooting at them.
Live in that apartment right there, and I heard close to 10 to 15 shots. I thought they were fireworks at first.
Police aren't saying exactly why they were trying to stop the man, just that it was a joint investigation with the DEA. They say the suspect got out of his car and began firing at police. Police returned fire. That man was shot and does have life-threatening injuries. A Spokane police officer was grazed in the head by a bullet, but is expected to make a full recovery. The officers involved are now on paid leave, which is standard protocol. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office is now investigating the shooting. We have exclusive video tonight of a suspect in a deadly stabbing that happened in the Spokane Valley on Friday. 20-year-old Aaron McKeeter right here is believed to have stabbed his cousin on Friday night. He faced a judge for the first time today. He claims he was acting in self-defense, but investigators say witness statements and surveillance video contradict his story. He told investigators he called out to his cousin from a block away. Then he claims his cousin started running at him with a pocket knife and cut his hand. However, investigators say there is no evidence from the scene that supports his claims of acting in self-defense. In the meantime, McAteer remains in the Spokane County Jail tonight with a $750,000 bond. You can read more about this story on our website. Just head to KREM.com. Meanwhile, a suspect's in custody tonight after a shooting in Soap Lake, Washington. At around 1:30 this morning, Soap Lake police got a call about a man who was shot on East Main Avenue. Soap Lake Police Chief Ryan Cox says when they arrived, they found a 34-year-old man who'd been shot. He was airlifted to a Central Washington hospital. Police have not released the victim's condition. A canine was able to track down that suspect. He's identified as Julian Beauchamp Ortega. He was arrested and booked into the Grant County Jail. We'll keep you updated on this story on KREM.com. And now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. The Riverside construction project moved into its next phase today. It's the start of the final phase of this major project in downtown Spokane. This phase of the project will impact Riverside Avenue between Wall and Stevens Street. Wall and Howard Street will not be closed at the same time. Drivers and pedestrians are urged to follow those detour signs to get around the traffic in downtown Spokane. And a free concert is coming to the pavilion at Riverfront Park as part of an effort to protect and educate the community about the dangers of fentanyl.
This is an incredible opportunity to proactively work with the community to prevent the tragedy that we are witnessing on a daily basis.
The Spokane Alliance for Fentanyl Education announced that on October 29th, they will be hosting their Fall Family Fest featuring CMT Music Award winner Chris Young. He'll be performing for free at the event. An admission ticket, though, is still required. The concert is in addition to other local music performers, a trunk or treat event, family activities, and food trucks as well. Millions of Americans will soon have access to over-the-counter hearing aids. The FDA issued its ruling back in August, allowing people who feel they have mild to moderate hearing loss to buy the devices without a prescription directly from stores or online. Hearing loss is the third most common chronic health condition in older adults. It is estimated hearing aids could benefit about 30 million Americans. Doctors say over-the-counter aids are an appropriate first step for some patients. The American Academy of Audiology recommends seeing an audiologist first to test your hearing to see if you're a good candidate for the over-the-counter hearing aids. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word NIGHT to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time. But don't go to bed just yet. SeaTac Airport has been rapidly expanding to accommodate more passengers. What new features you could see during your next visit. And the KREM Cares Big Book giveaway is coming back this Thursday. After the break, details of that event and how you can get your child a free book. We're back in just 90 seconds.